And we welcome you back to another episode of Under Review. And this week we are looking at the EA DICE release of Battlefield 5. Now, okay folks, here is my take on Battlefield 5. You've heard me personally talk about this game a few times on my podcast, The Jump Off, and here it is. I called for this game to be dead in the water from day one because of all the delays and the announcement of the Battle Royale mode, Firefight, which will now be launching in the spring. But now that I've played the full retail release of the game, I'm going to be judging this game on that alone, not what could have been or what will be coming later on. Now look, I think that Battlefield 5 suffers from an identity crisis. It wants to be a fun shooting experience that has a deep story mode, where it tells the story of World War II from different perspectives. And at the same time, a rich multiplayer experience where you live the Battlefield magic that previous versions of the games brought. Now, there is a real reason that fans have been calling for DICE to go back to Bad Company. And many players are drawn out of this type of deep story, like this deep storytelling that they've got into with this one. Number one, because Bad Company is not based on real people. That seems to be like the major sticking point with a lot of things. Bad Company is not based off of real individuals who fought in real wars during such a hateful time. Battlefield 5 is. Every character you play in the single-player campaign of Battlefield 5 is a real person living a real battle and does not survive. And I am sure those that have experienced World War II would not be fond of reliving the horrific experiences of the Great War. But DICE still wants you to have fun with it though, right? Seems now, like, you see now what I mean by this game is trying to wear two different masks? It wants to be living in the realism of the game. It wants it to be attached to what really happened. It wants you to kind of relive history, which is okay if that's what you're gunning for. But they seem to be kind of mixed matching their message, which was a little bit confusing to me. Now, one note that I will say about the single player campaign is that out of all the Battlefield games that I played, this probably does offer one of the best campaign experiences the series has ever offered. Think about it. If you're in it for the story mode, you're in it for that realism, you're in it for that deep draw of the characters, this is probably one of the best campaigns that this series has ever come to. It took elements from its multiplayer and it actually ended up applying them to the campaign, which is kind of cool. It is a very deep experience, like a deep experience that really tapped into the realism of war at that time. It was tragic, and DICE wanted you to feel every bit of it. And in conclusion, we did. Now for multiplayer, they put the focus where most Battlefield games do, teamwork. Where your class could be integral to the outcome of the match. It's going to take a lot of interacting with different players. So soldiers can be your resupply teammates with ammo. Medics are going to keep your health topped off, and if you're hurt, you can use them. Assault can take down the heavy artillery and disable vehicles, and the snipers, finally, are the one class that can spot enemies for their teammates to see on the map. Now this adds much needed element of true teamwork to the game, and squads with a good mix of classes will always seem to perform better. Not to mention that now that all your squad mates can revive fellow squad mates. However, medics are the only ones that can revive other outside teammates from different squads. They're the only ones that can do that. But now everybody within your squad can heal each other or pick each other up or revive them. Now, one thing that DICE has always gotten right, and Battlefield 5 has kept this trend going, is the wide range of excellent maps. And not to mention that DICE has promised to keep this game flooded with content and maps for free is a very solid plus. You can also now fortify position with trenches, sandbags, and barricades. So if there are points within the map that you want to hold, or choking points. You can now actually build up more choking points. You can actually put barricades up. You can put trenches in to kind of keep your squad mates and teammates protected. But to me, like I said, I feel the biggest problem that Battlefield 5 suffers from is the setting. I think if they would have lifted this out of a World War II setting into something a little bit more modern, this, I feel that if they advance this into a more modern shooter, or into what I would like to see, like another Bad Company, this could have been up for Shooter of the Year. Mark my words, this could have been Shooter of the Year. I just feel that it suffered from what could have been instead of what we got. The ideas were there. The execution is actually there. Story is great. The multiplayer experience is what you would come accustomed to from a Battlefield game. It's just not as robust. Now, it may sound like this game is bad, but in actuality, it's a fun shooter and has plenty, and I think this is where it's going to get its steam from, plenty of room to grow. It's not going to be like one of those games that's like one and done. This game is going to be a longevity game. The single player experience is deep, but I do not believe that they are going that many people, or many gamers for that matter, are going to be experiencing it. But with content coming in the future for free, this is going to grow into the shooter that we have wanted and could hold us over until we eventually get what I hope is going to be another Bad Company. So for that, just for the box version that we did get of Battlefield 5, we're giving this game a 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid shooter. It's worthy of playing. If you're a fan of Battlefield in any aspect, you're going to enjoy the game. If you play the campaign, you're going to love the campaign. Just like I said, be prepared. It is deep. And if you're one of those that's not really into deep campaigns, if you don't like the World War II setting, or you don't like that connection of actually real world people, you're probably going to steer clear of it. But the multiplayer does offer up a lot of fun as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you guys have enjoyed it. Please make sure you comment, like, and subscribe to the channel. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. And until next time, game on.